Welcome to the platform. My name is Bashio, and in today's video, I want us to talk about how can you turn yourself from a lazy reader into an avid, voracious reader. How to build a habit of reading, right? I believe pretty much everybody can read. I believe everybody can become an avid reader. Just the way you watch your favorite soapies, the same way you invest your time in other things, and you are so loyal to your schedule of watching those things, is the same way you can watch. You can read and still find the same fascination, find the same interest, develop the same love towards reading. I believe most of the people that you look up to, if not all of them, being the successful financially, being the successful otherwise, they can attribute almost everything that they have done in their lives towards reading. The build-up, the building block of their charisma, the building block of the character that you so much marvel upon, it's reading. It's found in books. Can you imagine being mentored by Warren Buffett on how to become the world's best investor? Or being mentored by Dalai Lama on how to become a happiest person, how to take charge of your emotions, how to remain happy even in the face of suffering? Or being mentored by Nelson Mandela about magnanimity. Yes, being realistic, you cannot have all those people that I've mentioned and others to be around you each and every day to give you a mentorship. But I believe that there are some books that I've written. You can drink from the reservoir of knowledge by reading the books that I've written. You can learn from the best by associating yourself with the books that I have shared, the stories they have shared, the inspirations that they share. That is in reading. In fact, Warren Buffett says he spent, I think it's about 80% or 85% of his time on daily basis on books. In one of the instances, he said his voracious book consumption has helped him a lot in generating wealth. And he says the key to success was reading 500 pages of materials a day. That's how knowledge works. It builds up like a compound interest. Another person who used to inspire me into reading, unfortunately, she passed away last year, December. May her soul rest in peace. Bell Hooks, an American author who was reading about 5 books a day. It sounded impossible when I came across it for the first time, but now I believe it is highly possible. Some people read even more than that, right? The Jewish community. When the Jewish arrived at the United States of America shores for the first time, apparently they had absolutely nothing. But today, the Jewish are relatively high income a group in America. They participate highly within the economy of America, and they attribute all that to reading. In South Africa, it's less than 5% of people who spend their money in the bookshop, who take their time going to the bookshop to buy books. I think it is research statistic of 2014 which revealed that out of each and every 10 kids of primary school from grade 1 to grade 4 cannot read at the efficient level. And it is a sad thing because from grade 1 till grade 3 we expect kids to be learning how to read. And then from grade 4 upward, that is when the kids start reading to learn. However, I want us to focus on reading that is for the purposes of consciousness, right? Now, I've tried to gather some few points which are based on my own personal experience with reading. How to turn yourself from somebody who's afraid of books to somebody who's reading each and every day, who just have developed this endless love for reading. Number one, start with the topics that interest you. Start with the genre that you love most. I believe you cannot spend about 20 minutes reading something that doesn't hold your fascination, right? The same way you watch your soapies. You can't watch the soapy that is boring to you. You have to watch the soapy that holds your fascination, so that when it ends today, you are waiting for tomorrow continuation. You want to see what happens from yesterday's episode, right? So the same applies to book. For a beginner, I believe it is advisable to start with the topic that interests you. It doesn't matter whether that topic is often higher importance or not, but for as long as it interests you, it is advisable to start there. That is when you start reading for that fascination. And as time goes on, you will start reading for content. There is this say which says, in the past, great people were known for reading books, but today great people are known for the types of books that they read. So you start with the topic that interests you. As you develop the love for reading, that is when you start to be choosy. You know your shelves. Even when you walk into a bookshop, you already know where your shelves are. Number two, start with what I call 10-page rule. Now, there is nothing sophisticated with 10-page rule. It's just a way of challenging yourself, right? If you read 10 pages today, tomorrow make sure that you read not anything less than 10. That means as a beginner, when you start buying a book, you sit down, you read it. Commit yourself to reading 10 pages. If you manage to read 10 pages today, tomorrow, no matter how bored you feel about reading, make sure that you read nothing less than 10 pages. In other words, the progress of today should always be less than the progress of tomorrow. I think that works not only in reading, but in every aspect of life where one wants to develop a success habit, right? Number three, do window shopping each and every time when you visit a shopping mall. Go to a shopping mall, visit a bookshop, do a window shopping, look the type of books that I have, walk through the shelves, just browse through, and look at other people how they do a book shopping, right? Walking into a bookshop has got its sense of it's got its modicum of inspiration, motivation. It automatically lure you into reading. By walking into the bookshop, your mind automatically change from the one of a non-reader to the one that think it's a need for you to read. By watching other people going through the shelves, enjoying picking the books, that is when you realize that you too can do that, right? I know it sounds crazy, but then it works. Try it. Number four, start with small books. There is this innate fear which just get activated when you see a bigger book. When you see somebody passing carrying a huge book, all of a sudden you think like he's probably not the same person as I am. He's probably a bookworm and I cannot be like him. So start with smaller books as you enjoy small sized books. That is when you develop a habit of reading. Once the habit is developed, once you have managed to habitualize reading, that is when you can go and face bigger books. I don't believe it can take a long time to transform into somebody who is not afraid of bigger books, right? Number five, make your own collection. Some people would always be surprised when they walk into your room and they find that you have a collection of books, you have a bulk of books. But then one thing that they don't realize is that for you to keep reading, you are motivated by the books that you have, the mini library that you have in your room. That is the motivation behind you becoming an avid or a voracious reader, somebody who read prolific. Each and every day when you wake up, you look at your mini library. That is when you realize it reminds you what kind of person you are. It reminds you that you still have a book to read. Start by buying your first book, bring it home, read it. When you're done with it, do not make a mistake that a lot of people make of selling each and every book when they're done with it. The books are sort of like a legacy. You read it, put it safe, buy another one, read it, put it together with the old one. Now you have two books. Each and every day when you wake up, you see those books. You realize that you still have to go to the bookshop and buy another book, right? Number 6, reconfigure the circle of your friends from the one of non-readers to the one of readers. I'm not motivating you or encouraging you to dump your friends. One thing you can do is talk a lot about books. Each and every book after reading it, make sure that when you are with your friends, you strike conversations that are based on the content which is in the book and tell them that whatever that you're saying, the points that you're making, the ideas that you have are influenced by the book we have just read. And if they are willing, lend the book to them. That is how you build a circle of readers. Remember the saying that goes, birds with the same feathers flock together. That is how you build a circle of readers, and you will maintain the habit of readers because you are surrounded by readers. I know some people will ask questions like, why would you spend your money buying a hard copy while you can just download the book on your computer or on your cell phone, read it, and finish it on the screen? Yes, it's also another way of getting to read a book. But then I think the motivation is just not the same. There is something unique with a book, a hard copy. There is this thing which keeps telling you that you have to go on reading because you have a book within your house. Even when you travel, you can put it in the bag. It keeps on prompting you to take it, to read it, right? I don't discourage reading soft copies, but if you want to develop a habit of reading daily, I encourage you buy hard copies so that you make your own collection. A collection that even the kids, your children, will find it, right? And another thing about reading is that it comes with a lot of benefits. One benefit of reading, which goes without saying, according to me, it's exercising your brain. The more you read, the more active your brain becomes. Another one, which goes without saying, I think reading forms create a form of entertainment. Remember, in the same way that you find fascination in other things such as hobbies and video games, whatever you do in your spare time, you can find the same fascination in reading. You can buy different genres of books. You can read to quench your thirst. I beg your pardon. You can read to quench your boredom. You can read, get educated, get informed, get mind opened while you are entertained at the same time. Another one is reading will increase your general knowledge. It also goes without saying that a non-reader is just different from a reader. And reading teaches empathy. Now, this is interesting because reading benefits not only you, but others. It enhances empathy and willingness to help others, right? These can be easily tested when it comes to donating and volunteering. Being physically and mentally sound, you are more being physically and mentally sound, you are more enthusiastic about contributing to the well-being of the community. One thing that reading will benefit you is improving your literacy. People who read are good in writing. People who read are good in constructing their sentences, because each and every day they read, they go through a line of words before their eyes. When you read, you come across new words. You discover some new phraseology that you have never encountered before. And that means you find yourself duty bound to go and understand such phraseologies before you can continue reading. You have to learn the words. You have to learn the usage of such words. You have to perform the sentence because it has got several words that you don't understand. You have to pause, whether you use your Google or you use your dictionary or any source that helps you. And when you come back to the book and read it, the sentence all of a sudden make a sense that it never made to you before. That is the benefit of reading. So I believe we don't lack source of knowledge. We don't lack source of wisdom. Remember, there are about 130 million books. That means each and every day you can walk into a bookshop, you will always find a new book. And new book means a new content. A new content means a new discovery, a new knowledge. So I believe as young Black people, we should be at least supporting platforms such as this, where we try and work together for the goal of building a better society. Society of people who are not afraid of reading. Society of people who are curious to know. Society of people who want to get out of lethargy. Society, because the more you read, that's the more you destroy your ignorance. You might be not interested in knowing about something now, but if you read about it, you might find that even the information that you found there, you feel like it's incomplete. So that is when curiosity starts developing. You have to go on researching more and adequately about that particular content, right? So platforms such as this one enables conversations about content that we have read. And one other thing I believe we can do is to support local writers. So platforms like this should not only be about readers, should also be about authors, and more especially the abandoned local authors. Because some authors get to be noticed not because they have written somehow a critical content, but some authors are precisely noticed because they are famous. Remember, sometimes fame competes with content. You might come up with a content that is critical, but because you're not famous in South Africa, you are not going to reach a lot of people that you are targeting, right? But then somebody who is famous for other things, if he says something very trivial or very elementary on any public platform like social media platform like Facebook, he might get his code being shared by more than 1 million people. That is where fame competes with content. So I believe smaller platforms such as this one, it has about less than 50 subscribers. The little number of people that it reaches is the better. That's when we come together, we read books, we come back to the platform, we have conversation, we publish them, and we get to grow and learn from one another. So I will be posting a video or videos where I deal with the content of the books which are locally written, and where possible, where I find it easier to access the author, I will bring the author to the channel so that we discuss the content of the book, and we encourage other people who are interested in this to start reading and to start writing. Remember, there is not only those who are aspiring to become readers, there are also those who are aspiring to become authors. So I believe It is a platform that we're going to build it and make it conducive to each and every one of us. Thank you for spending your time watching this video. Please don't forget to subscribe. Click the like button so that it can be recommended to as many people as possible. And also share it with your friends and relatives whom you think can find it useful. And lastly, leave a comment and if possible, suggest a local author that you know so that we work together in promoting writing. Thank you.